Hello and welcome to the Tradespotting show, where you overfill your trolley, underspend your budget, and get a disproportionate amount of chocolate on your biscuit. We'll look at SPY and VIX. Let me know if you'd like to let me have a look at anything else using the links in the description to get in touch with me. Though I can see the chat box. This is SPY. There's targets. These below are gaps and retracement levels that you would anticipate price going to. This one here, let's go into 4 hour. Make the point with a 200 period moving average. That's Coco jumping around in the background. There has been a trend. That trend has been to the top side. And so the dominant line within that would be support. See that we've tested it a number of times. 50 simple just inside it, 200 period moving average beyond it, and that's where there is a gap in around 400. Psychological level, very much somewhere where you could anticipate price growing if there was wicked whips out of formation. That formation perhaps you're measuring with this trend line in a similar fashion to the top side, taking it underneath. You can see that you've most recently fallen out of that, though you didn't have a divergent peak in the momentum at that point in time, so you're not necessarily anticipating an awful crescendo in price action from this trend breaking, though at some point we shall see a test of this one. Thank you very much for being here. KT, Tubes, Nick, Rocky, Go to Sleep Rocky, Dashy, hey, how you doing? Nick, KT, Kitties, Jake, Tobias, Nick, Dashi, KT, great to see you. So this is the point I'm making, is the 50 simple, the 200 period moving average price action trend, the dominant factor of that trend, the strength of the breakdown, what we'd anticipate seeing, and so on. So positive, super positive, and really good information there with regards to your trading. I would say, wouldn't you say so? Wouldn't you say so? So the targets then would be, like you want to break back above, and you've obviously got a positive post-market at 0.03% post-market. That's pretty exciting movement back up again. And I don't think that this be-all and end-all of this move is defined by that trend line, though it's real and it's important, and price actions below it. This here, 434, 435. In and amongst where we are at the minute, like price action in amongst where we are at the minute. So yeah, that's the first area. If that breaks, it's just going to drop down to 430, and if SPY is coming to 430, probably test a little bit lower, you know, this important area, distinct area around 430. That breaks, you know, come down, test support, these candles in around 425, 424. You're that close to a gap. Might as well come on and test this target at 420. 420, that would be a good target. 50 simple might reach its way there on 4 hour 200 period moving average. Might be in around those areas by the time price reaches there. Don't think it's going to happen immediately, you know, like I said. And if you did push back up again, you've got your prior high in at around 445. You break that, you'll hit to 455. That's the next two targets. Yes, the next two targets up here. Would be buying SQQQ shares be a good thing to try right now? That would be triple Qs, so a leveraged version of what we're looking at the minute, and S triple Qs would be the short version. So you'd be doing that in the face of this trend line to the top side, which says don't do that, and then this trend line to the top side that says don't do that. But I understand, and to a degree have a mutual sympathy, if not an empathy, for your need to try and outthink the trend. That trend, which is like, please be my friend, and you're like swiping left on it constantly. Swipe left. No trend. Don't like you. Nope. No trend. This is why I don't open this app, trend, because I don't like you. Da, 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 da. So you're looking at the I empathize, but no, that would probably, like, under these conditions, what you'd be looking at in that particular question that I just saw in the chat box would be because price action has made it to this prior high, 786, and an important point of price action in the breakdown where you had a cross of the moving averages. And that's not what you're identifying. You're identifying emotional damage. And that's what you're afraid of. And you're afraid because there's been a retracement, that retracement defined by that trend line. So you're emotional. Do I think that's a good trade? Well, you'd have to give me some reason for it to be a trade, because it flies in the face of everything I've said since the start of the show. But, you know, you could maybe have a reason for it. So, SPY. We looked at that, and then VIX. This is a volatility index, right? So, people have been typically trading very, very well recently. And as a representative, you've all been given on a really big pat on the back by VIX dropping below 14. So gold star traders, congratulations traders, great job traders. Great job. Pat each other on the back. It's way better when somebody else is doing the patting. Dude, I know, right, Jordan? Right? Gold star. How many times have you got below 14 on VIX? You know? Brilliant. So such good news, traders. All that money they're making. You know, technically, nobody actually loses, you know. Everyone wins when VIX is this low. What? Victimless crime, right? It's brilliant. Like a... So, yeah. So VIX, yeah, so it continues like we're doing what we said it would do. It's great. Right, so VIX, go 12. So we'll say that. Let's go 12 VIX. And SPY, go up, go again. Go again, fuck it. Right, so, yeah. Root. So, I mean, like, yeah. Yeah, it's good news on Root and that. Good news. This was a good trade here, right? You know the you'll have heard of a thing on YouTube called the Millionaire Maker series by this guy Tradespotting. Incredible, incredible. So, what number of trades here? Look at this one. Eh? I mean, that was pretty good for a start. I'm just going to do this here. It's not really like blowing my own horn. So that was 82%, and then this was 44% on the impulse, right? Like, now look at the drawings, which tell you where it's going. There's the target. There's the retracement. And then, since then, well, I mean, you can take it from the impulse move if you're a good trader, but let's just say you took it from where Tradespotting said. Then you're up 219% since then. It's a pretty good move, that. Pretty good move. See it clearly. Here, look at that. You can see exactly there. Look at this. Like, this is insane, right? So, what have we got here? We've got lots of drawings saying price is going here, which it did. And then we've got all of this, which I remember drawing before any of this happened. It was that we were going to have a rounded bottom. And then we've got this squiggle, which price action is like just enjoying. It really is. That price action is definitely enjoying that. And then we said you'd get a so, like, look, this is just brilliant. And what was that at? 660. That was at the close. And then extend the hours. Look at this. It jumps through the Tradespotting hoops. What about that? Check it out. This is like, welcome to Tradespotting world, and we'll get price to go, whoa, and it gets up and eat the fishy price, and then price eats the little fishy, and then go through that next hoop, you stupid fishy, and it goes through the hoop, and it's great. And we sell shitloads of tickets. It's brilliant. And what does price do? It just deals with it, Just deals with it. Shut up, price. It's a commodity now. Price, just shut up, price. So, brilliant. Jump through that hoop. You get another fishy, you stupid price. So good, This is brilliant, man. This is best shit, like. So, jump through that hoop. Right, so, yeah, it's just great. What else are we supposed to be looking at? Carvana, somebody said. Carvana, I think that was in the same message from Mr. Kitties. Mr. Kitties. Here, look, I mean, get out of town. This is also doing, like, things through lines and stuff. So there's a big danger now, right, now that you've hit all of the drawings, that you potentially come down to this guy. Wait a minute, that was part of this guy, and that is confluent with this left. So, and I probably did that before all of these other things. So, you know, we'll have to go back to the regulars. Oh, it's dangerous. Oh, suits you, sir, very, very dangerous. Based on a Tradespotting drawing, I'd say that's very dangerous. Right, so what you really don't want to happen here is for this to drop below 1987, but it doesn't look like it wants to anytime soon. That looks... as it sounds, generations away at 24 spot 15 post market. Here, I remember back in the day, just when I was a young boy, and this was only $18. Do you remember that? Just when I was a young laddie, you know, fresh out the box, daisies behind the ears and that. Wow, it was $18 on Carvana. That was it. Remember when people said, we got all this trade. I mean, this was all great trading here. But this move in particular was fantastic, from $3 to 18 something. But do you remember? Do you? I mean, jippers. So fantastic. So Carvana's great, but I noticed earlier, I noticed earlier, I do notice now. Hello, friend, from Nathan. Hello, Nathan. How's it going, buddy? Could you look at NUMI? Yeah, on TSX. So you're accumulating because NUMI because anticipating FDA approval of the MDMA in October. MDMA, which is like happiness in the pill, apparently. But then, you know, brains, too much happiness, ooh, lots of sadness, right? Stuff like that. So, yeah, it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? That's what brains are like. So there was this downward sloping resistance, and price action has managed to pull its way out of there, but it hasn't significantly achieved anything beyond its prior all-time low, which it exceeded. But price action retracement, not all that good. It's also not managed to break any of the important highs along the way. So it's got this one, which, you know, fair enough. Managed to get back above that, and using it as support would be positive. You also have a potential cross of the moving averages, which if price action did come down and test that area again, you get one chance at a bounce. If that then didn't exceed the prior high, it would break down. But I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen, because you most recently held a certain line RSI. So the fact that you did push back above this is interesting. You haven't managed to exceed this guy, which is very important. Once you do, I'd start looking at what was going on overall. That's also your 236. Oh my goodness gracious me, this is the important one, you know. So I'd be interested in this if it uses this as support, having gone through it again, you know. Price action, whoosh whoosh, right? At that stage, that would be very interesting as to what's going on, because I think there'd be a decision being made. I think also the chances are that would happen. Oh, look at that. After a 50% retracement back up here, a retracement back down 50% here. Look, these Tradespotting drawings are like, what's going on? Intuition's insane, right? Abundant intentionality. They're provided for price. That self-nebulous and non-thinking abstract, right? It's in here. It's real as fuck though. Bing bong. Anywho, right? So you've what's going to happen probably is you're going to have to be careful of this thing when it's trying to get back above 0.3. If it does manage it, it probably goes to 0.6, and then at that stage I'd expect a retracement back down to around 0.3, or give or take, you know, 20%. But I'm talking 100% moves though. So, you know, give or take. And then if that point, I'd be very interested, because if it went up from there, you'd be looking at it making moves back up to around $1.50, $1.75. And if it fails there, then you're looking at a retracement back down, test the prior low, possibly, you know, you'd be looking at targets of 0.2, 0.17. What was that noise? Where's the cat? Coco. There you are, somewhere. I can't see you, but I hear you. Where are you, Coco? You're supposed to be in charge of the camera. Who's doing the camera if you're not? So anywho, you've got Wednesdays are the best, aren't they? Rocky said it was going to 22, zigzagging on the way there. This, NUMI. Jeepers. NUMI's going to 20. So that's a lot. So on the daily time frame, there's your retrace. Oof, desperate, right? Your 200 period moving average on the daily is at 0.25, 0.24. You've pushed back above that. NUMI Wellness, Health Services, talking about potential FDA approval, obviously not completely in the bag, but I can imagine it get a lot of hype. So that'll be what they've been selling the stock on since 2020, December 2020 though. And bear in mind, this is 2023, and everybody who bought it previously is in a little bit of dodge. So if you're looking for a long-term accumulation, you had your bullish divergence on these most recent lows, and then overall you had a picture of divergence in it around your previous all-time lows. So subsequent to that, there's been volatility, and having you You know, so this is what happened, right? Price action, it came down, it broke that previous low at this point here. Subsequent to that, it went back up and it tested the 236, which was more or less what I had put in at the time. I mean, I could adjust this for that low and you'd find 236 at the peak here, right? I will just do that for you. And then after that happened, come on, gotcha. Right, see, magic. And then after that happened, price action broke down again, broke it below that parallel. So at this stage, you were in a long-term downtrend, which had a serious test, at which point it failed. And that failure happened up here, but you know, was manifest to the amateur here when price action broke below this previous low. So you're in what is called a downtrend, and that has then subsequently found a move to the top side, which broke this downward sloping diagonal trend line. But if you were paying attention to what I was doing there, you'll have noticed, eagle-eyed amongst you, that this trend line actually stops in its usefulness when price action went below this previous low. You had this retest, you went back up again, and sure, you hit it and you came back down and there was a failure, but the scaffold around price action was no longer this channel itself, which you had a move outside of. It wasn't, no, it was the fact that price action was in this rectangle. So that's what took over, and as such, what you're hoping for is a rounded bottom, because these things make the retracements, you know, 90%, 80%, this thing 113%. You know, again, I could draw that on. Look at this, is amazing. Blah, jabba, ding, bong, 113%. Look at this amazing stuff happening before your eyes, right? This is like those shows that they scam you with the balls underneath the cups, and actually it's like the dog's run behind you and he's robbed your wallet. See that? The magicians are amazing, aren't they? So there's links in the description if you want to take part. Tradespotting. No, Rocky was talking about Root to 20, not NUMI, sorry. So you should be. Eh? So you went so you went up there. Yeah, no, you didn't. But in future, we'll be looking back on this and it'll be lovely. So that's what you're looking for. The problem is that it's healthcare, and they, like I say, they just make stuff up until such times as they have something real. And in that whole making stuff up, we still need to pay people's wages and lab costs and whatnot, which is like, we rely on eroding shareholder value to do that. And, you know, so that's the case with most people. We've not got any splits on this. That's good. So if it persists at these prices, it will. So anywho, you're definitely looking at this thing. If the question was, where's the long-term accumulation? So the long-term accumulation is if it comes in and fails at any of these highs, if any of these areas price action fails, and you're looking for it to put in a rounded bottom. So if it tests here again, or if this is turning around and you're absolutely convinced that it's like something you're going to buy regardless, you know, I think there's lots of other opportunities until such times as it does everything we discussed about 10 minutes ago. But and people won't be watching because I focused too much on a single stock. Oh no, I've done it again. Anyway, what I'd be saying is there it gets really exciting after it does everything we talked about, and until such times, then the most exciting thing it could do would in fact be a failure that brings it back down to test this trend line again. So a failure in and around its previous high, somewhere around 2.55, and then come back down, break the 200 period moving average at 0.21, and find something in around one spot at 0.175. That'd be exciting at that point. And then you can also manage your risk really quite well with this ultimate low here. If you go below that, it's just more of the same, back into this channel displacement, and it would be wicked, right? You'd test the bottom side of it pretty sharp, and there'd be a lot of volatility. So that's the theory, Rocky Outcrop, and I discovered, articulated, conceptualized, tested, back-tested, proved exists, and introduced to the body of knowledge that is technical analysis via our course, which you can do at www.technicalanalysis.school. It's the best course to teach you to trade. If you're watching this show, you haven't taken that course, there is a little bit of me that resents the stupidity and your lack of decision-making that will further your own life, and then obviously justify the efforts that I'm putting in here, which shouldn't really be free on the internet, let's face it. So anyway, you're looking at price action on this thing, doing that wasn't specifically to Nathan, who's donated and asked for this thing. It's a fact request. He's very generous. Global Daddy Hill. So onto that, Chardonnay Flasher says, where do I sell my Bitcoin? I bought it, it went up, and now I'm peeing my pants. Whoa, look at that, by the way. So this was this downward sloping channel. These were important levels to go through. So was that smiley face guy. Oh, we're back in smiley face land. Well, so there's nothing to complain about, right? I hope you didn't sell it is the point. 1 hour time frame. Yeah, so nothing's happened. Parabolic move. What you're really thinking is, if this thing breaks down, you know what parabolic is, right? It's a word and it means something, and people say it and they think of it as in exclamatory terms, which is so much of what's wrong with trading. Is for the first number of years, people who do it talk about it in the way where they say, I was literally on fire, and that, and you're listening to them thinking, I wish you were literally on fire, right? Like, that's stupid, you know, because then the conversation would be over sooner. But actually, and you know, so you want to be careful anyway. So there's these words and they mean things like exponential, you know, the product is the method, and then parabolic, right? And these are extensions of the same concept. It's maths, and then price action is taking this parabolic move. And what happens when they break down? I watched Rocky's show earlier, so I know you got this tip already. And you'd be looking very, very closely at 29.2 if it was to break down from what has been a breakout of a linear movement, a parabolic curve, which could easily exceed a 236, losing 25% of its value, would signal it's maybe going to lose another 70, 80, 90, and at which point you'd be looking at retests of this trend golden pocket back down at 26.8. That could be what happens, you know. I don't think Bitcoin actually moves on the news, the news being this Bitcoin spot ETF, and that's old news that's been rejected a number of times in the past because, as Rocky says, the surveillance of the marketplace is inadequate in order to provide proper protection via the current regulatory framework that's administered by the SEC. So they saying, yo, bit dodgy, you know, we don't trust the current price of Bitcoin. We think it can be manipulated. So we're not going to give you a spot ETF that's like immediately settled based on the price of the underlying at that point in time. You're crazy. You can manipulate the price of the underlying. There's multiple exchanges that are selling it all the time. Those exchanges that are buying and selling it, they don't even meet the SEC's definition of what is an exchange, because the SEC have just decided that the word itself is too ambiguous and they're going to have to define it better. So, the news, right? The news. So, price action, though, it had this downward sloping channel. Price action broke out of it. You were looking to then test your previous highs. You went through this one, but the distinct one was in around here, where price action wasn't actually in a trend yet. And you've just come up and tested that area again. So, like, that's technical analysis, not the news. And anyway, then on the 4-hour time frame is the happy face. Remember we had the happy face? So everybody's happy. Happy. Anyway, if it does keep going, you'll test this previous trend, probably, right? Because, you know, it's Bitcoin, so it does daft-ass things like this. So, you're looking at, 31,000. If that breaks and it happens, like, let's say tomorrow, you'll be looking at, like, 40 grand. That'd be that sort of thing. Crazy. Shut up, Spotter. Whoops. I've got to get this stupid thing again because they didn't buy enough mumps on Black Friday. I'm so stupid. Oh, my God. You regret trades. You'll regret that, I can tell you. Anyway, I wanted to go... Where did I want to go? Daily? Yeah. So I wanted to go to the daily. So this is good. This is good to see this sort of formation. Looking left, you can... these prior important areas. There's a number of them. And you see that, like, that was in around this zone, which is where price actions come back to when you found a peak here, which was partly due to this divergence. Obviously, the economy... The arse fell out of the economy as well. But enough about bums. Price action come down, and these two previous peaks, good area to find a local low on this time frame. And then so you want to go up and test against this previous trend here, which we've got measured out with this handy Fibonacci measuring it for us. Great, wasn't it? So, you know, and we can look across now and see were these levels significant in the evolution of price, and those levels being 22,000, 22,600 and 32,000. So let's just go in and see then in most recent price action. You'll have to remember those numbers. 22,000, that was one of them. Where's it? Stop it. Spot is 22,000. Oh, it's 15-minute time frame. Get out my face. 1 hour. Right, so it was very, very good in around here. You broke out this channel before, so you've got something to look to. It's not all that different, really. Watch Rocky's show anyway. So you've got the downward sloping channel, you've got a parabolic move. That held a 236, so you were looking at continuation. As like I said, it's looking at continuation as a trade. Probably an extension. Looks like a 23618 as well. So 1414, 1618. Yeah. So like, well, I mean, yeah, but also you're looking at that guy and saying that's a 236, holding it off of the back of that move. So yeah, you didn't go anywhere near 382 anywhere near. You went halfway there after the 236. But anyway, you got that 236. You held it. Obviously, retracement there. Bulishly divergent. Didn't slip into the bearish control. So boom, break your previous high, go into that move. And this is what you want Bitcoin to do something similar to, which would again be, you know, a 1618 extension from the high to the low that you broke down from, which would be taking you back up 36,100 with like a little bit of a peak in it around 34. So if you get the equivalent now, and I don't like fractals, I'm talking about technical analysis and extensions and whatnot, it may well be that price action, generally speaking, does something like that's ideally, you know, it would do something like that. It hold this 236, so if it does come down, it holds here, as we held here, and then you see a nice move through the 1.14, and then at that point you really started to plateau, but you still get your 1618, something like that, get up around 36. That'd be fantastic. You don't need to go up and do like test this diagonal. Sheesh. You know what I mean? You know, unless like people talk about that, obsess over the money flow index and other things that have got nothing to do with making the money. Making the monies, the money, money, money. So, oh, the butterfly. Remember back then we told you, I mean, we told you it was 38.17 and now it's at 43.63. And this is futures, so, you know, what's that? 16% on the world. There you go. There's 16% on the world, and it's highly leveraged product. So you're talking like 100x. So, you know, I can't even do the maths. What time is it? 1 o'clock in the morning. Tradespotting said F word, but the JVR equals 0. I know. Take a look at GME. Cheeky. GME update, please. Look, he's all asking for GME at this time of night. Colin hasn't covered Mullen yet. Colin, I haven't covered it. No. Did somebody ask about it? I didn't see that. Let me see. Recent events. I'm not seeing it anywhere over here. I'm not seeing anything. I haven't covered it. Yeah, I covered it a few days ago though. Should have taken profits at the top, but hindsight is 2020, right? 2020. Looking back on 2020, it's a little bit ironic that we got everything so wrong. I say we, but I didn't. You know, quite the contrary. But like back in 2020, you know, we had called it COVID-19 for a start. That was our first mistake. Yeah. So, what was the question? 2020 hindsight. Yeah. No. People don't have that. No, they've got rose-tinted glasses, and like even memory is totally imperfect. You know. So, as totally imperfect. What a great word. It's not a word. It's two. Shut up. So, yeah. 2020 something. A quick look at GME. 24 spot 35 post market. Whoa. Quick look would be. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Bum, 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 bum. So we have a lot of drawings on the go there. If it does move up any higher, you're looking at 25 spot 74 and then 26 spot 66. If it does break back above those levels, sure, you've got your peak 27 spot 50, but you would be targeting 29.78. And if you went through 25.74 at this stage, then I would be thinking, you know, eyes on the prize. I would be looking at that thinking maybe you are looking at it at $30. All of that rests on the fact that price action needs to not break below the 200 period moving average, not get stuck below the 50 simple period moving average, not break below the golden pocket of the same fib, not break below this previous resistance, now support, and not do all of that at once, because that'd be fucking shit. And then it would go to 21, and then it would go to 20, and then it would go to 18. So that's a quick look at GameStop. GameStop, I made so much money on this last week. Oh, so much money. Oh, it did. Fuck it. Get myself some new garden furniture, in fact. What's this? I made so much money on this last week. Boom. So, anywho, what's everybody else up to? Mullen. Colin asked for Mullen. Where did he ask for it at? Where was it? Was it in like the charity box? I can't see it. I can't see in the charity box. I can't see the charity box. Can't see charity box. Can he see it? Today, I'm doing a show at 1 o'clock in the morning. Tomorrow, less than an amount of hours that any normal human being should be asleep for. I'll be miles and miles away from here, getting anesthetized by an anesthetist. He's going to ask me to count down from 10, and I'm going to be sitting there on my laptop with the charts open, trading, and he's going to say count down from 10. And instead of counting down from 10, I was saying to Rocky, I'm just going to quickly buy 10 different stocks with my entire account, with no stop losses, all on 100x. 10, 9, 8 seconds, I'm going to keep doing it until the stuff kicks in. Oh, it's going to be fun. So yeah, I got that, and then be out of the count for a few hours, and then I'll quickly get on a jet. A position has opened up, a CEO of a large private jet company. So they're hoping to draft me in to the CEO position. So yeah, long story behind that. So I might take that job, and if so, I'll be flying back on my jet, which turns a 26-minute journey into a 13-second journey, which is brilliant. Takeoff landing takes about 30 minutes in total, but that's not the point. It's the experience, you know. It's the experience. And so thinking about that, and it's like Learjets, but they're beer jets. Is even better. And I'm going to get all of that money. It's going to be brilliant. Yeah, I'm going to be so excited. Anyway, so I'm getting a new face tomorrow. It's great, a new face. And then I'll be waking. I've got to do trading and stuff. You know, there's never a day off. Never a day off. So Tradespotting. I thought that was today. No, it wasn't today. Silly. Oh my God, good luck. Remember to follow all the instructions. Don't pay dickhead tax like me. Yeah, no, I don't. I charge that tax. I charge that tax. Links in the description below there, in fact. I charge that tax. It's called a fax, not a tax. It's much friendlier. Friendly, you know. Friendly fax. So it was in the wishes box. Oh, right, Well, I'll have a look at that. We get to that on Fridays. Might be some GME related happenings in and around July the 4th. Nicola just got $29 price target. How? See, this is how you phrase a question in the charity box. It just got I don't know, man. It just wants to do with Tradespotting hoops. It wants to do the Tradespotting hoops. Whoops. Hoops. Whoops. You can see it at 247 again. Sure. Sure. 29. Are you sure you read that right? Yeah. And maybe you see it up at a target of in and around $4 at some point. At which point, right? At which point, you've got a trade that was a 282% move, and within that you got 120 odd percent move, and which make you way more money than even if it did now go to 27 from wherever the hell it would be safe to trade that from. Look at all these resistance. Like so where would you be looking for a $29 price target? Trade it from where to there, based on the fact that this is the weekly time frame. Like, where are you looking to take a trade to 20? Not slagging you off here. The person who put the $29 price target. Where are they saying that? I mean, I do stuff like I call crazy stuff all the time, but what are they talking about? Fannies. So that's interesting. Apple's still holding 180. here, like, yes, the economy is great. What's everyone talking about? So what we missed Tradespotting. Coco will enjoy the extra time with your corporation, I bet. What extra time? She gets all my time at the minute. She gets all my time at the minute. The reason the show's partly the reason the show's so late because we went for a walk, and somehow she managed to like get around me, and so I was out there looking around for her for ages. She came back. I came back like I'll just give up then. That's it. I used to know a cat called Coco. I was thinking on the way back, and I was nearly over it by the time I got back. And there she was outside the front door. You know, how that, I don't know, magic, right? It's like she's got legs and a brain of her own and everything. Simply Wall Street said its intrinsic value could be 46% undervalued. Wow. I mean, there's maybe an interesting point to be made there, but... Which is what everybody thinks about it. So... she gets all my time in a minute. So all the time. See, too many silly stories. Too many. Should I ever tell you? See how many people we've got live at the minute. If we've got more than 50 people live, I'll tell you about the time I met the Pope. 28. Oof, that was more than half, but we're not quite there. And we've only got 27 likes. So there's a dickhead in the chat box right now. Right now, there's one of yous in the chat is a dickhead. Right, so you don't get to hear about the time I met the Pope. So, what could I tell you about then instead? Wow, wow, ba ba boo ba doo whoop. I mean, ROOT, great, right? Everyone loved that. I suppose a lot of people were more interested in that when it was doing stuff in around these levels, but still a little bit of a move. And Bitcoin pushing up. It's interesting, isn't it, that Bitcoin pushed up so much, and any yet to get back into its previous formation. I think that's interesting. Aston Martin, like this is a super interesting one because the rates in Britain keep going up. So the economy might be screwed, but rates keep going up. So money floods into the pound. The great British pound, right? So the money goes into the pound. Look at all these amazing trades. Also, Aston Martin are cool with SPX. James Bond drives one. So the money goes into the pound, right? That's a pound, and in that pound, I don't know why it looks like that. So some people would draw it like, you know, anyway, whatever, right? Don't spend it all in one shop is the point. And so, the fact that the money's going into the pound goes up relative to other currencies, but you don't want to just put your money into the pound and lodge it with like a bank of Tradespotting, which is if you were going to use a deposit account and that existed, it would be the one to use. But you don't want to do that. You want to put it into equities, right? Short-term equities, otherwise known as stocks, and you want to do that. You also want to do it in those which have companies which have export exposure, right? Because if they're importing products, right, and the price of that pound, remember that pound, right? Don't spend it all in one shop, right? The price of that pound, it was going up. So when they were using those pounds to buy like chips for their cars, here's a car here, look. Right, this car. I know it looks like a jobby, but it's a car. So, this guy, he's got his car. It's brilliant. It's got a chip in it, and that chip came from somewhere else who don't have pounds. And the pounds was more valuable. Yum yum, more valuable. And so you can get your euros. You can get them. You can spend them all in one shop if you want. Who cares? Yeah, and you can So you can get more euros for your pound, which is great because then you get more chips for your pound. And then you can get your car for all the parts cost you less. And then if you were selling that car anyway, right, to say Americans who wanted the fastest road legal car, they'd buy it, and they'd have to be paying it for pounds. So they'd be paying even more for the thing, which is great. And then the whole time those pounds are going up in value even more because, you know, government is awful and they can't manage the economy at all. Thank God the Bank of England's separate. Anyway, that's great, eh? So, Aye. So the Emperor Witches. The death of the witch. Adam Smith, right? He's got an answer for what he did to the witches. The death of witchery. So look at price action here. Fabulous. Why am I opening this up? I was just trying to make interesting points about interesting stuff. Carvana. We already talked about that, I think. Didn't we? Anyway. Loads of great stuff recently. Obviously, you'll have some idea about MARA. What else? What else do you want to look at? Anyway, he's asked me to look at stuff and I didn't. Who would Colin ask for? Now I feel bad. We have to use an ADR for that here in the US, right? Tradespotting. No, you can get an exchange that allows you to trade on the LSE. Yo! And then you don't need to do those damn dastardly financial products that they sell, they float across the high seas in wooden boxes. You know you have to buy them and they come in wooden boxes and you have to crack them open with a crowbar and whatnot to get those ADRs. Right, the alternative deposit receipt things that companies do to sell their stocks on different exchanges because people don't use the Tradespotting IBKR link, which you can find on the Rocky Outcrop Discord, and get an exchange that allows them to trade. Boom, access to LSE. There you go. Boom, you can trade it in pounds. You'll need to trade in the base currency of that exchange, which means you're able to use your broker to convert money into that currency, which should be half the intention anyway with this thing, because you're trying to make money off the value of the pound going up in value relative to the dollar, because it's not just about the fast cars, right? It really isn't. It's about the fact that the pound's going up because the company, it's not about the company, it's about the country. The country's crap, and so the pound goes up. So you want to make advantage of that. And the fact that it would be in something else that's also going up would also be quite good. But on the 4-hour time frame, you can see there 9 spot 48, a little bit of a retracement, test that 200 period moving average, breaking the 50 simple, getting back there would mean that this was a local high on the RSI. At this point, testing these areas and not managing to break them would suggest it a bit of a failure at this area, and look left to see where that is. It's an 886 retracement. And Rocky was talking about how dangerous they are earlier. Did I look a little bit at ROOT? I can't remember if I did Latoya, though that is very generous. I see $10 came in there from Latoya. Thank you, yo. Yeah, I did. I talked about how my drawings were really sweet ass drawings. So if we're going to hide them, at 4-hour, you've got your rounded bottom and price action. If it does break up, it's all about these two peaks here. The drawings are going to come back on, but it's this guy and this dude, right? So you're already approaching this one. So that's the next target, 694. What am I talking about? It's all gone way beyond there. That's just stupid regular hours. Yeah, so we're a little looking left and we'll go on a daily. Rocky also talked about ROOT earlier, Latoya. So, I've just got so many drawings again. Right, this downward sloping resistance, you've managed to exceed all the important resistance levels here. If it does come back down, you'll be looking at tests of 938. It's 9 spot 62 at the minute. So it could be in there easily. That's such a big move relative to what it's been doing for so very long. It's not. Why is it saying 962? It's not 962. Daily time frame's not very good for it. So you've got it in there. This is the worst ever. This is the worst I've ever done when somebody's asked me. Right, so can we strike all that from our minds and start again? So we've managed to get down to the 15-minute time frame, and we're looking at extra hours, extra electronic trading hours, so that people can tell what's been going on. It's all post-market moves. It closed in at around $6 and change. So 962 in the last few minutes it pushed up. And then you had this huge stupid ass move. 1 hour time frame, still not seeing anything relative to the overall price structure, but you're getting, because it was so low for so long. Anyway, this is a rounded bottom. Price action is breaking above important peaks. It's gapping above them because they are really important. So they're an inflection point. Once you've gone beyond those areas, all stops are triggered, people are liquidated, and that means the other side of the trade is used to close there. So buying previous short positions, that's an awful lot of volume that pushes it higher and higher. And those are what often leads to the break from a linear trend to a parabolic move, which when it corrects, it's not just like statistics that take it back 80-90%, it's because there isn't any support to buy it. Any of the areas that went through previously as resistant, because everything that was making it go through resistance wasn't true demand, it was because of the other side of the trade having to close often, and then people who just trade that move in and of itself, who they don't provide any momentum, which you can see on the indicators. Anyway, so price action, it broke above previous level of resistance, it left a gap, and then obviously that's an important area. If it comes back down, it provide an area for a test, in that it gives price action somewhere to test. It's really clear, isn't it? And so what is price action? Well, it's everybody else's emotional reaction to what just went before. So there's a real clear distinction point at 960 for them to all throw themselves against that wall. So if price action wants to break higher, the next level area to break 1621.27. 1621.27. This breakout move at the minute, you're probably not getting a lot of context in the 1 hour. It's all about the 4 hour and this thing pushing from where it is at the minute to I don't know if that is an important point. It's all about this thing pushing to 20 bucks. 20 spot was 21 bucks. This is all about this thing pushing to 21 bucks. Does it go on? Because if it does, it's going to 21 bucks. If it comes back, first place you'll see it a lot of danger is at around 960. But we already know that none of the prices it's telling us on the right here are correct. It's actually way higher. But when we go down to see it in context, if we don't get enough price action on the go, and like these peaks in and of themselves, it's just, this was an important level of support. You broke it, and then you didn't find resistance there when you came back to it, nor did it become support again on the way through. So I'm not sure if I would actually put much weight on anything below 20 bucks. It's all about testing 20, and then you've got back to a return to what you would expect to be an actual resistance level at 26. So this level's 20 to 21, and then 26 if it pushes up, which it may well do because this is a huge move, and it's got, it's like, this is market cap of it's only 137 million, you know, and at various times I've had leveraged positions on this which add up to like a, which is, you know, so I mean, you don't know, which would add up to a significant percentage of the company itself, and that's just me, and there'll be lots of other people like me who would be doing the same thing. So if you that's just us, you put all that together, right? Plus the fact that the market cap's only 137 million with an average volume of 421,000, right? That's not that much, right? That's not that much. Like, I know somebody in the same room as, I know someone in this room who's got account that size. Like, that's not that much. And then you're looking at the volume. There was 2.83 million today. So that's a lot of interest. This thing's picking up. The float's tiny. Market cap gain, likewise. And like a lot of people know about this thing now. So your target's back above 20 bucks. There's the drawings back on. That's what we've got on a long-term target, 2618. So on, you managed to break above there, 25, 26. Then you're looking at things like 40 bucks, and this thing coming off and going crazy up to 170. And then look, there's game over. At that stage, it doesn't really matter. I don't know. I'll own an island or it'll be called like Pangea. I'll own it. I'll go back in time with the amount of money that'll... So anyway, what was the question, Latoya? What do we think it's doing? Yeah, well, it's all done a lot of the important stuff. Now the test is if it goes on back above here, do we go on and test 21 bucks? That's an important area with low confluence. It's all on terms of Fibonacci extensions. It's also the definitive area for the support and resistance out with this downward sloping channel and the horizontal you broke ages ago. You know, the fake out zone, where if this is actually not going to completely change the trend, would be this distinct area of the most recent lower high. Subsequent to that, you fell back inside this channel and persisted within it until this breakout began. So that's the area where you find a lot of interest on route from here to 21 bucks, and then maybe 26, and then maybe 40. But it's disappointing to have broken people's hearts at that 21 level before. So careful. Careful, careful. Root buy offer is 19, right? Oof. Woof. Woof. Eh? Maybe. So, yes, I think that obviously, like, they're a good match, Carvana and Root, in that they provide immediate benefits to the top line. They don't really actually add that much to costs. Very complementary businesses, and they each introduce customers to the other. It's fantastic. So, like, economies of scale within your sales. Fantastic. And then there's a big markup on insurance. You know, and if you can sell the car and the insurance at the same time, that like provides an element of convenience, which is particularly important when that's the main part of your business model, which is the same thing shared between Root and Carvana, not just cars, not the industry, not the sector, but it's that their main solution they're providing is convenience for people who want that, you know? Like it used to be, people thought, you know, text messages, nobody will want that, but actually you do want text messages because, again, like I say, you don't need to put your makeup on and you can wear your pajamas and send a text message and nobody knows. They think you're in your suit. They don't know. Right, what else has been happening? I've done an amazing show. We've done an amazing show. Obviously, these guys are going to move because Bitcoin's moving. And obviously, they're going to go along. I have to stop putting on accidental lines because I'll never know what that will actually do to the world around me. The power of these lines is insane. So get back in your box. Right. So this thing also loves to do a trade spotting. So yeah, I mean, what 409 be the next area if it manages to break 316, which is done. So it's 330. So that's what you're targeting. Obviously, you got 345, 345, and then 400. That's what you're looking at. That'd be good. Trade spotting. The max pain chart en route is amusing. It's been that way for months, though, sir. It's been that way for months. We'll see resolution. We shall see resolution. Thank you, Jamie. Continue watching. Great. Yeah, there's some root stuff earlier, I think. So what time is it now? Cheapers creepers. 20 past 1. And you didn't say trade spot and go to bed. You've got your operation in a few hours. None of yous actually care about me. It's all hand me the lamp Aladdin stuff around here. Like I don't notice. You know, so it's... Well, I hope you can rely on me for anything you need. And if you want to get in touch with me, the links are in the description below. For your own good, join Rocky Outcrop's Discord. It's free. What are you waiting for? Take the course. It's not free. Why would it be? That would be ridiculous. It'll change your life. Take it. www.technicalanalysis.school. Right? If you can't afford it, you're kidding yourself. You can't afford it. Everybody can. Take the course. Thanks very much. See you tomorrow. Even though I'll be out just awake.